Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, yes, Shalini, I can hear you very clearly.
Oh, good, good, good.
How do we go about it?
Okay, so you start talking about whatever you want to, and then we're recording this.
Good. So, Shalini, I must first say that your perseverance is really remarkable. And I am a kind of person who procrastinate, but you caught me and you left me with no opportunities to delay it further. So here I am. And I will do in two parts. One about prior to joining IIM, about my life story, and then what happened after I finished my PGDM.
Perfect.
Yes, Shalini, you were saying something?
No, no, all good.
Fine. Then about my childhood, I was born in a place near Delhi, in a smaller place. My father was in UP government service, where he was posted in small towns. And I moved around quite a bit. I studied, I think, in 7 schools till I finished my 12th standard. I studied in Hindi medium throughout, and I was an average student. So I never had any aspiration of doing something great at that time. But when in 12th standard, I did pretty bad. And then I said that that's not good. That will spoil my life. But fortunately, I made it to IIT Kanpur, where there was no interview or anything. And on the written test, I could get civil engineering. Now, I had absolutely no idea or no intention of becoming an engineer or something. And life was just going on. And once I reached there, I found a lot of new and interesting things. And I tried to make the most of it. So that meant that academics took a kind of a back seat for first few years. I joined virtually all the clubs which were there, whether it was a movie club, foreign language, music, drama. I did everything, nothing great, but I kind of got a feel of a lot of things which I wouldn't know earlier, having stayed in a small town in the Western UP. Then, but somehow I still remember when we had just joined and we were assigned a faculty guide, and he asked everyone what you want to be in your life. And I don't know why I said this. I said, I want to be a CEO by the time I'm 35. Now that was something quite unusual, I suppose, looking back for me to say, but I said it, and somewhere in the back of my mind, it remained. So after 3 years or so, when I found my grades were kind of average or even below average, I need to do something. Then I pulled myself up and I then said that, let me see what it means if I want to do well. And I put in the efforts. And after that, I could complete my last 3 terms with 10 points. And that proved to me that if I want to do something, I can do it, but I need to set a goal for myself. After IIT, I got a job. I got 2 jobs, one job in Mumbai for a month, which I didn't like. And I had a backup job with Indian Tube Company, which was a subsidiary of Tata Steel. And I joined them. I think after 20 students they had taken, I was the only one who joined to go to Jamshedpur, which I had felt that I will never go to a place like that, but I landed up there. Fortunately, in a few months, they said that they have a vacancy in marketing, and then they moved me to Calcutta, and after that, they moved me to Mumbai. So in 82, I had done my engineering, and in 82 December, I landed in Mumbai, and I was doing the marketing job, which was B2B, selling steel products of a certain type to a certain kind of industry. So that went on, and it was kind of doing routine. I wasn't getting much interest. And then I said, what do I do? Then it so happened that I was sent to for a training program to Tata Management Training Center, the same place where Chetan was, which Chetan was heading. But in 84, when I was sent there, I found it very interesting, and particularly a lecture by a marketing professor from IIM Bangalore. And I said, this looks interesting. I was in marketing and I now knew all these things. So why don't I study more? So in that year, 85, I wrote CAT, and as it happened, hello Shyam, I see your name there. Okay. So I went IMC, and let me say, I spent best 2 years of my life. Really amazing. I met a great set of people, and I learned so many things in ways which I will always carry with me. So that was in brief for most of you who don't know the background. Should I continue, or there is some?
Wait, let's mute it. Sham, can you mute yourself? Arvind, wait, give me a minute. Let me try if I can.
Okay, I see Shyam has muted, so I can continue. So one other interesting thing is that when I joined IIM, I didn't know what I would get into, and somehow I had at that time started to make my goals, and I had said that I had worked for 3 years. There were not too many people with the work axe in our batch, and I said, let me try to do well academically without understanding or realizing what it meant. And that also meant that I had to spend a lot of my time in I attended almost all the classes, but I think it is a good thing because today, whatever I did in IIM, I think I am able to use most of it. But then after IIM, I went back to my previous job. And at that time, Indian Tube Company had got merged with Tata Steel. So I joined back Tata Steel, and they put me in the market research department in Calcutta. And then I had 1 year of market research, which was very good because I was traveling all over India only. And I could go around, and I think in the first year of my, I think 87, 88, I must have met half of our batchmates because I would go to different cities and I would try to find out who was where and then try to meet them. So that was good. Then in 88, 89, Tata Steel was setting up a new joint venture with Timken of US. And they asked me to be part of that team, again for the market research, which I did for some time. And then they had a management team, which was headed by a Frenchman, who said he wants to take the people who he thinks would fit in the roles, because he wanted to run this company in a totally different way, or in his opinion, the most advanced way. So I was in marketing, and then he said, I need you to move away from marketing and you come to production planning and control. And I had absolutely no idea. But then he said, I think you can do a good job there. I was sent to US for 3 months just to get an idea about the production and other processes. And then I was with Timken till August 94. And from production planning, I was also given the responsibility of tool room, of maintenance, of production, and I became a hardcore production man in Timken, though I'm a civil engineer and that was more of a mechanical industry. So that was quite interesting. Then, since I had set up a goal that I should become a CEO by the age of 35, and then I said, let me look what I can do, because in that company, though I was told that I would rise, I should go to the top, but at that time, the distribution of positions was that the top man in this company will be coming from US expat, and Tata Steel nominees will be at a lower levels. So I started looking for a job, and then I was offered the job of CEO of a company manufacturing shock absorbers in Hyderabad in 1994. The company was named Super Shock Absorbers. It had an Italian collaboration and belonged to Shriram Group of Chennai. I left the job in Timken, and all along my 12 years were with Tatas and Timken, which were very large organizations. And then I go to this company, which was closed and was reopened few months before I joined. It had a turnover of only, I think, less than 2 crores with a loss of about 1 crore. And they had no, because nobody would want to work in a company which had those kind of financials, had no other backing. So I started working to revive the company and started acquiring customers one by one. So we had TVS earlier, then we got Mahindra and Mahindra. We got that time Premier Automotive, which was making the Fiat cars, and many others. Now this company was near Hyderabad. And one thing which I didn't know, that some of the handful of people had been terrorizing the other employees in the garb of support from PWG. And when I wanted to do things in a different way to revive, also asking them to work properly, they didn't like, and they went to, or kind of threaten everybody else. I got letters from PWG delivered to my house and things like that. And eventually they kind of forced the nearby people in the village to kind of tell the company that unless you appease PWG, it will be very difficult for you to continue here. So I took a decision that no, we will go and fight because we are not doing anything wrong. But our group, who also got some letters, they decided that they don't want to antagonize such people, and they were kind of dilly-dallying. And at that stage, I felt that I wouldn't be able to do much work here. Though in the second year, after we completed, I think at the end of 2 years, we had started making operating profit. So I was wondering what to do, and then I got an offer from another BIFR company. For those who don't know BIFR, these are the companies which have eroded their net worth. They're making huge losses. So I was offered the position of managing director. That was in 1996 when I was 36 years old, in a company called Seahorse Industries, which was manufacturing energy meters and defense electronics based in Trichy, which is pretty far south where I had never been before. I didn't know the language, and I took up the challenge. It was a very tough task, and I think in 6 years, from a huge accumulated losses, we wiped all that out. We became quite profitable, and at that time, our promoters said that it's better we tie up with some larger company, and eventually they tied up with a company, European company, which then decided to acquire the full stake, and they wanted to bring in their own man. So at that stage, in 2002, after spending 6 years and turning the company around, I moved from there to Bangalore. That's where I am now. It was in 2002, and I joined here as the managing director of Tanaj Aerospace and Aviation Limited, in short TAL, which was a company doing a lot of things in different areas of aerospace. They had their own small aircraft. They had their own airstrip. They were supplying parts to ISRO, to various other HAL and other Indian companies, but the revenue model was not very good. And we tried everything, including at that time, we also thought of launching a small airline when Deccan was being launched, but then I found it is not viable. Also, the promoters did not have money. Their main business was also not doing well, and they were stretched there also. So at that time, Harish, our HV Harish, as he was with Ferguson's, and he kind of literally pulled me from my office one fine day and took me to meet a German gentleman who said that they were looking for a managing director to head their Indian operations. And that was the company which I work for now. It's called OMA India. It's a German company owned by a German multinational. That was in 2003, December. At that time, this company was a small company. It had grown at a slow pace. It had a turnover of something like 17 crores. And it was profitable, but very marginally. And what I did, I tried to use all the learnings which I had in my previous companies, which are not doing well, into this. And this enabled me to not turn around because it was not loss making, but the company in 5 years became a 100 crore company with a profit of 30 crores. And today we are a 200 crore company with a profit of, or PAT of, about 50 crores. So, which is very unusual for a manufacturing company. Also, we are, well, I would say, the best performing company in our industry. Our market share has more than doubled in last, I think I'm there for 15 years. So company is doing pretty well. I run it as my own company because fortunately for me, since the day one when I became CEO about 25 years back, I was given the complete freedom to run the company the way I would like to run as if run one company. So in this company, I have no reporting to anybody except my balance sheet is getting incorporated in the parent company. So we have freedom to develop our own products. We have freedom to buy whatever equipment we want to buy because ours is a manufacturing company and we do most of the value addition in-house. I believe that we have one of the best manufacturing facility in the country in our size of industry or our kind of industry. But this is what I decided to do, and our parent company said, it's up to you how you want to run it. In fact, last year, I was inducted in the steering committee of the group, which has 8 people, which run the whole group, which is about 500 million euros or maybe $600 million. What I find interesting is that today I am able to use most of what I learned in engineering and after that in management in my job today. And in engineering, not what I learned in detail, but even a little bit. So today we have a treasury, we have a big treasury and I have to do that. We also need to develop new products, whether it is electronic products where we have two-wire communication. I need to know about the labor laws. I need to see how to handle so many employees. And I think it's quite a fulfilling job. I am going to reach 60 next year, but my promoters want me to continue as long as I would like to do. And at the moment, I've told them that at least 2 years I run the company directly. After that, I may continue for some more time, but I will anyway be involved as a director on the board of this company. So I don't think that I will do anything different. One other thing which helps me is that the company does well. So we have a good CSR budget. We spend every year 1.2 crores on different CSR activities, which is also quite satisfying. A little bit about my family. I got married in 1992 to Vandana. Some of you have met her. She was teaching economics before marriage. She continued for some more time, but she's a homemaker now. I have a son, Pulkit, who is now 26 something, and he did his engineering from Hyderabad, but he is a hardcore programmer. And at one time, I would say he was the best programmer in the country. He represented his college or India at the global level. And after that, he was kind of asked by Facebook, by Google, and he had many other offers. So he joined Google immediately after college. And he is there in Bay Area and Mountain View for now 4 years. I have a daughter, Vrinda, who is in the final year of engineering and in computer science. And she also would be joining American Express in, I think, June 2020. So that's in brief about myself. I think I have done it in the time, Shalini, which you thought would be okay. And I have covered most of the things which I felt important. But if I have missed something, you can let me know. And I see that Shyam and Ash are also there. So if there are some questions, some information you would like from me, I would be glad to answer.
Well, thanks, Arvind. That was quite remarkable. Sham, Ash, do you all have any questions?
Yeah, hi. This is Sham here. Am I coming through?
Yes, Sham, I can hear you clearly.
Hey, hi, Arvind. Good to hear from you again. I think we met in Bangalore about a year and a half ago. So
that's right.
Good to hear your story. I mean, most of it you narrated to me when we were sitting there in Orion Mall, I remember.
Yes.
But the question I have is, we joke on WhatsApp that your name is not Arvind Goel, but Arvind Turnaround, leveraged turnaround wala, if you might recollect. So, you make it sound, obviously it's a short talk, and you make it sound very easy when you say, I took over this company, it was 2 crore rupees, loss making. In 5 years, I doubled the revenue, tripled the revenue, turned it into profit. Then you go into another company and do the same thing. And now you've done it with the latest organization where you've taken it from 17 crores to 200 crores and turned it around. I mean, not turned it around, but took the profit from 2 crores to 50 crores. The question I have for you, Arvind, is when you work with companies which are bankrupt, when you work with companies with a eroded net worth, well, it's easy and glamorous to say that I turned it around. It's very hard work. You don't have any resources to work with. Your finances are short. You don't have any working capital. Your balance sheet is bloated. Your net worth is down. Morale is down. How does one go around with a complete lack of resources to turn around a company? How do you increase the top line? Where do you get the money to the resources to invest in the business? How do you manage your working capital? What are the first 3 things, or the most 3 important things that you did to turn around the companies that you did turn around?
That's an interesting question, and I think very, very important. And what I would say now, I suppose, would be applicable in any industry, in any situation. So I'll give an example. When I joined this company in Trichy, it had 900 employees. It had been making, I think, on a turnover of 10 crores, a loss of 7 crores in the previous year that I joined. The employees got a bonus 20%. And they were borrowing more money from the bank. When bank stopped, nobody knew what to do, and I was kind of posted there. The day I went, I was geared out, and I was told by unions in this company, the management makes sure that everybody in the company, all the employees get whatever they want. They don't have to work. They get salary without working, like you will get perhaps old times in the public sector. So what I said is, it won't work that way. And I said, we will not pay salaries till we earn it. I will be the last one to take the salary, but you will also not get the salary if you don't earn. And then I had to take a lot of steps where, I never paid a bonus more than 8.33%, while previously it was 20%. But the reason I could do that was the problem was in the leadership earlier. If the leadership is seen to be not following the norm, not ethically running the company, not putting in hard work, not knowing what to do, everybody will take advantage. The challenge is for the leader. He does not have resources. He does not have people. He has to do all kinds of things. I remember having sat down once and doing reconciliation of some supplier's account who wouldn't supply unless we reconciled, and there was nobody else to do it. So in a situation, if the leader is seen to be sincerely attempting to do something and tells that this is how it would be done, but at the end of it, it is good for the company for the long term. I remember in Trichy, after 5 years, when I declared a bonus of 8.33% after a company made a good profit, I had the president of one of my unions. He became an MP later. He was a big union leader. He came and in front of his other people said, I want to thank Mr. Goel that he declared a bonus of 8.33% because we know that the company is viable. I think some disturbance, Shalini. Should I stop?
Yeah, let me see if somebody needs to be muted. Hang on. Ah. Is this better now?
I can hear clearly, no problem.
Okay,
So,
you're good.
I think it's only one thing, the leadership. The people will follow if they know the leader is doing the right, and they will accept the hard steps taken by the leader. So you need to generate
Okay,
confidence.
so I understand that. Arvind, my question was more specific. So let me outline that.
Hmm.
Can you hear my question?
Yes.
So the question is, in a situation where your balance sheet is eroded, net worth is gone, you don't have any resources. What is the first step that you took? I mean, obviously, to grow, you need to invest in the growth, right? You need to increase revenue, you need to increase your production, you need for the production, you need to buy raw materials, you need to have working capital, etc. So how did you go about in any of the turnaround stories that you had? How did you go about
No, you cut
starting the
costs.
growth pattern?
No. So firstly, you have to stabilize. The things are going bad. It's going worse. So you need to stop and how do you do it? You don't want to add to the losses because it just becomes worse. So what you do is look at what you are spending, and then you have to cut down the cost. And I can tell you that the companies which are not doing well will still have a lot of wasteful expenditure. It can be a small, I remember when I joined Tanaja Space in Bangalore, every day there was a new flower bouquet which was put on the reception. And I said, do I need? No, I can live without it. Do I need to get 5 newspapers? No, I can live without it. These can be small things. These can be large things. So you have to stop the slide, and then you have to do things right so that it is only incremental, small steps which will take. So there's no magic trick. It has to be done brick by brick every day, and then you can build it. And
Yeah.
you
So
yourself.
therefore, to follow up from there, I mean,
Yeah.
did you also then take a decision that while you stabilize the ship and cut costs in the first 1 year or 2 years or whatever period that you thought was appropriate, you would not chase growth?
No. I
So
think
to chase growth, how did you find the resources, the financial resources?
no, just a minute. So unfortunately, in most of the situations I went in, there was nobody to fund large money. I had to make sure the statutory dues were paid. And if we are making a certain loss by cutting down on the cost, by putting more efforts in collection, because when you go, nobody has looked at the things, it's just drifting. And you have a lot of low hanging fruits to pluck. So I think I won't go and say I will make an investment. I will not go and get new customers. I will look at what I have and look at my balance sheet and say what I can make it to stop bleeding. It can be, and I'll tell you, in Trichy I had 900 people. Within few months it was down to 600, and eventually after 2 years it was down to 300. So it can be so many things which can be done to stop the decline.
So I mean that's great, Arvind. I'll just conclude. I have no further questions. I'll just conclude by saying that clearly I really admire what you've done. This is not the first time I'm hearing the story, obviously, but it always is good to listen to it from you again. I think you've had a remarkable journey.
Thanks.
I honestly don't think that too many people amongst us from our batch would have had similar kind of trajectory that you've had. And hearing you speak, running small businesses and large, the challenges you've been through has been a pretty interesting experience. Not, and as I said, this is not the first time I'm hearing your story.
Yeah.
But it's great stuff. Thanks for sharing it with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Shyam. Ash, do you have a question? Okay,
So
Arvind,
I have something to tell.
Yeah.
Is Ash online?
He is supposed to be, but anyway, Shyam, go ahead.
No. If Ash is online, I just want to tell Ash, Salamat malam pa Ash, apa kabar? Baik.
I think he's put it on and then he has disappeared from the.
I just thought
That's
I'd
it.
exchange a few words in Bahasa Melayu with him, but anyway.
Okay. So, Arvind, I am very, very incredibly impressed with all you've done. So, I have a couple of questions. If
Yeah.
you did not have a goal of being CEO by 35, do you think your life would have been a different trajectory?
Yes, I think I would have continued with Tata's and Timken, and I don't know where I would have been. I might have not faced these challenges, wouldn't have faced the difficulties, wouldn't go into that much of depth of business, wouldn't be able to apply so much what we learned. Because in a large organization, you are a small spoke in a big wheel. So I think it would have been quite different. I still don't think that was the best thing to do, because most difficult time of my life was when I joined this small company in Hyderabad. And what I learned there has taken me through after that. There I had to learn really hard way. Later on, I knew what I would face. There I didn't know it.
Fantastic. So, then you talk about a lot about leadership. Do you think, okay, do you think we should teach more about leadership in colleges, or it's only by doing you learn?
You see, the leadership is not something which can be said, this is a leadership. It depends largely on the situation. And when there is chaos, you need one kind of leadership. And I had to do that dictatorial situation. And then you come to a company which is reasonably okay. And like in the last company, and it's more collaborative, and you try to make use of what you have. So I think one lesson which any leader can follow is that you lead by example. And if you do things which are seen by others that you are being very sincere, very hardworking, very ethical, half your problem is taken. But then the leadership style will depend on the situation.
Were you ever afraid for your life in all these turnaround situations where you said people get out you and there were, other kind of situations?
Yes, I mean, let me say this, and this is not very pleasant, it's pretty ugly. In Hyderabad, when I told you about the PWG stuff, there were 29 people, workmen, who were following blindly what this PWG man was saying, a so-called PWG man. And when we went, we said nothing doing, we will turn around the company. 26 people deserted him and started following what management said. They tried to, and I got these letters from PWG, they tried to chop off the hands and legs of one of those 26 people. Fortunately, I mean, it was a bad attack, but he kind of did not lose the limbs. So it wasn't very pleasant. Later on also there were some threats, but not as bad as when I was in Hyderabad.
Wow, this is like out of a Hindi movie.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've done some studies on turnaround specialists, and we find that they have some special skills which do not translate very well in running a normal business. But you seem to have done both. What is your secret, and what do you prefer?
No, I think both are not exclusive. It's a question of what stage you are at. And even in growth, when I was in this company, I wouldn't take big steps because we couldn't afford. So you have to take the situation and see how I can improve. So you can take small steps or you can take large steps, depends where you are. So the idea is that you improve the situation. And I don't think anybody should try to say that I am here today, tomorrow I will go there without having a plan. I'm like, you certainly need to set a target, but things keep on changing, and you can't. You have to be on your toes all the time.
Great. What about you had majored in finance? Why did you take a MR job after IIM Calcutta?
Okay, interesting. I didn't get a very good job in finance, and then Tata Steel was offering a good salary, and I thought that it's a big organization. Let me see what I can do there. So it's not that I wanted to do only finance, and in IIM I did whatever I liked. So I did operations. I did a course on advertising. Uh, I did finance. I did everything. So finance would have been my first thing, but in what I have done now later on, that came quite handy.
That's true. So after 2 years, suppose you decide not to be a full-time manager, what do you think you're going to do?
That's a toughie because I have been so much involved in running the companies or a company. Uh, I will find it difficult, and that's. I mean, like your. If somebody asks me what's your passion, I may be doing puzzles, quizzes. I like traveling, and of late I have been traveling quite a bit. I am in last 6 months. I have been to uh, Ladakh trip 10 days. I was in Jaipur area. I was in Orissa 2 weeks back. I think in 2 weeks I'll go to Munnar. So I travel quite a bit, and then things are streamlined. I know that nothing will go wrong, but I don't think that I can be traveling all the time when I call it a day. So I don't know.
So no plan for your life, huh?
I don't know. I mean, like I should have, but I still feel. Unfortunately for me, I mean, like it's 2 years. I said I will run. That means 2.5 years now. I could do it for some more years, but
Mm.
need to develop some interest. I need to develop something which I know I'm good at, because I can do many things. If somebody asks me whether I can go and do some NGO work, I can do as an ordinary volunteer. I wouldn't be able to do a very good job of that.
Mm-hmm.
I do a good job of identifying what's wrong in a company, what should be done, but I don't know whether that will be of any use at a later
Mm.
stage.
Fantastic. This is a really, really good story. Have you trained other, your subordinates to become turnaround specialists, maybe in the earlier two companies?
One challenge which the small companies or the companies which are not doing well is they can't get people. Certainly, they can't get good people. So you have to manage with what talent you get, and you don't have many levels. And I'll give an example that in the company I run today, when I joined, when it was 17 crores, we had 215 people. Today, we are the same number of people. We run the
Wow.
company. We do manufacturing, so we are producing. I would say 80% of the manufacturing is in house. So we keep on improving the efficiency, but that means I can't hire people from IIMs. I can't hire good engineers, and so people know what is to be done because I tell them that this is what should be done, and they see it. But would somebody be there who would go and run the company? I doubt.
Oh, that's hard. Um, Hello. Okay. Okay. My last question.
Yeah.
What advice would you give yourself when you were 22? Now that you've lived a long life.
Yeah. I don't know whether I will do it differently. I mean, like, I know that the hardships I have gone through, maybe I will do things differently. I mean, like, I could even say that at one time I was very much interested in IT, and maybe I could have gone to that field. Maybe I would have done more interesting things, but I have no regrets in what I have done.
Sham, any last questions?
No, I'm done. Thank you.
Okay.
So
Thank you, Arvind, so much. I am so glad that you did quite this thing. And I think,
normally I don't speak. I can't speak about these things except to my batchmates from IIM or IIT, and it's nice that I could.
no, I think maybe you should, your retirement plan can be going and becoming a motivational speaker on how to turn around companies and then give advice to them. That could be an interesting career to have.
Yeah, might be. I'm not a very good speaker. I know that. I mean, like, I'll tell you that one other thing which I missed. Uh, I have been kind of by the industry I run. I have been made the association head. So currently, I am the Indian Valves and Actuator Manufacturers Association chairman.
Wow.
I was earlier, so I kind of talk to the industry, my colleagues in the industry, and I think start talking more on these things over
No,
there.
you should. I think we need more turnaround specialists all around the world. I mean, like I said, we did a study and we found it's very, very hard to get skilled people
Yeah.
to do that. But thank you so much. I am so, so glad you did. Thanks, Sham, for joining us, and Ash too.
Thanks,
Sham,
Shalini,
you're
for all your initiative in starting this. And I think maybe today I must have seen a few of these. Some I saw earlier.
oh,
So
good, good, good. Sham,
Yeah,
you're going to
great
give me
show.
a date.
Thanks, Arvind, and thanks, Shalini, for once again for anchoring this entire series. Thanks a lot.
No, Sham, you're going to give me a date soon.
Yeah, well, yeah, well.
No, well,
Yeah.
well, well. Okay, bye. Take care.
bye bye.